we are for chapter 3 of Dinosaur Cove, Attack of the Tyrannosaurus. Let's see, I think I had one last fact file to read to you because I read Jamie's fact file, and then I read Tom's and Wanna's fact file, but I have not yet read the T-Rex fact file. So let me tell you what it says. Full name, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Age 65 to 80 million years. Height 5 J-toms. Length 10 J-toms. Weight 200 J-toms. Remember, a J-tom is like the same exact weight and height and size as Jamie and Tom. Top speed 30 miles per hour. Likes fresh flesh and crunching bones. Dislikes chewy green leaves and other T-Rex. Zooming in, you can see the T-Rex's claw, the T-Rex's eye, the T-Rex's teeth, and the T-Rex's tail. I wonder if we'll meet one in chapter 3. Let's find out. In chapter 2, where we left off, the last part where we left off said, "I can't stop," Jamie yelled as he tumbled towards the edge of the cliff. Chapter 3. There's a little picture to start. There you go. Check that out. It's a Jamie. There might be some bugs in the fossil finder. Tom thrust out the end of a stick. "Grab this, Jamie," he shouted. Jamie threw out his arm and caught hold as one foot went over the edge. He wobbled and then steadied himself. "Thanks, that was close." Jamie stepped back from the cliff's edge and gazed at the landscape in front of him. A canopy of gray mist hung over a forest of brilliant emerald green. The humid air throbbed with the whirring and buzzing of insects. "Where is this?" he gasped. Among the trees, Jamie saw a beautiful blue lagoon, and beyond that was an expanse of water. "Is that Dinosaur Cove?" "No way," said Tom, looking through his binoculars. "That's an ocean." "Ark, ark, ark!" The sudden noise came out of the sky behind them, and Jamie turned to see a scarlet-headed bird, the size of a small airplane, swooping toward them. "Watch out!" he yelled to Tom. Is that what it looked like before? They ducked as silver-gray, leathery wings swept right over their heads. Tom followed the bird with his binoculars. "It's flying over the jungle. It's settling on a tree by the lagoon," he told Jamie. "Take a look. It's huge." He thrust the binoculars at Jamie. Jamie looked toward the lagoon, and his jaw dropped open. He couldn't believe his eyes. "What can you see?" Tom asked. "I can see," Jamie spoke carefully, "2 rhinos, but instead of 1 bighorn, they have 3, which means," he whispered, "that they're not rhinos, they're triceratops." "What?" Tom said. "Let me see." Jamie passed the binoculars back. "You're right," Tom said. "And that huge bird isn't a bird at all. It's a pterodactyl." The boys looked at each other in amazement. "Dinosaurs!" they yelled together, punching the air. "But how?" Tom stuttered. "I don't know," yelled Jamie, "but we've got to get closer." How would you feel if all of a sudden you went back, way back in time before any human existed, and you saw dinosaurs? Cool, right? A little terrifying? "Over there," said Tom. "There's a slope down to the jungle." The boys scrambled and skidded down the hill, and soon their feet sank into the spongy jungle floor. Great pine trees towered above them, and huge ferns brushed damply against their legs as they passed. An enormous frill of purple and yellow spotted fungus caught Jamie's eye. It sprouted from a rotten tree stump. "This is unreal," Jamie said, But then, on the far side of the fungus, the ferns began to rustle. Grunk? Did you hear that? Jamie whispered. What? Tom stood still. The ferns swished. Grunk? That, Jamie hissed. There's something there. Jamie and Tom ducked down behind the tree stump and then slowly peeked out from behind the fungus. The noises were coming from a plump, scaly creature with a flat, bony head and splotchy green-brown markings. It was standing on two strong legs, peering hopefully into a tree. It's a little dinosaur, Jamie whispered. As they watched, the little dinosaur grabbed hold of the pine tree with its claws, steadying itself by digging its long tail into the ground. Then it shook the tree as hard as its short arms would allow. The little dinosaur's tail twitched and it grunted softly to itself. He's thinking, Tom murmured. He's so cool, Jamie breathed. The dinosaur took a few steps back. He lowered his bony head and charged straight at the tree. Thwack! The flat top of the dinosaur's head hit the trunk and the pine tree shook. He's strong, said Tom. Do you think he's dangerous? Jamie asked. I'll look him up. Tom pulled the fossil finder out of Jamie's backpack and tapped in key words. Flat skull, headbutt. Wannanosaurus, Tom read from the screen. An herbivore. Oh, that means a plant eater, asked Jamie. It uses its hard skull to defend itself against predators, Tom continued. As Tom slipped the fossil finder back into Jamie's bag, the little dinosaur took another run up and rammed the tree again. Thinks the tree's a predator. Tom stood up, laughing. The sound of Tom's laughter, the little dinosaur cocked its head to one side. He turned and blinked mournfully at Tom. You've hurt his feelings, Jamie said, standing up beside Tom. Sorry, Wanna. Tom apologized to the little dinosaur. The Wannanosaurus blinked at Tom, and then at Jamie. He took 3 big steps away from the tree and shifted his weight from foot to foot. He's revving up, said Jamie. Go, Wanna, go, the boy shouted. The Wannanosaurus put his head down and hurtled toward the tree. Thwack! The tree wobbled. Plunk! A single pine cone dropped to the ground. The dinosaur stuffed it into his mouth and looked happily at the boys. Then he wagged his tail and scurried off on his hind legs. Let's track him, said Tom. Just a minute. Jamie carved a W into the tree stump with a fossil hammer, so we remember where we met Wanna. Now, which way did he go? Asked Jamie as they clambered over the tree. Tom looked around at the trampled plants. He disturbs the ferns as he walks on them, Tom said. We can follow his trail. The little dinosaur's trail led to a small clearing where the boys found him standing on his hind legs, munching a leaf. He turned toward them and lowered his flat, bony head. Uh-oh, said Tom. He might charge us. It's okay, Wanna. We're not predators. Jamie put his backpack on the ground and took out his bag of stinky ginkgo fruit. He rolled one toward the Wannanosaurus. The dinosaur sniffed at the fruit suspiciously. He can't possibly want to eat that, said Tom, holding his nose. Wanna looked down his snout at Tom. Then he pinned the fruit between his claws and sank his teeth into it. He made grunking noises as the stinky ginkgo juice dribbled down his chin. Yum, yum, Jamie grimaced as the dinosaur's long tongue slurped up every disgusting drop. Wanna looked at Jamie. Then he looked at Jamie's backpack and wagged his tail. Suddenly, the little dinosaur froze. The jungle went still. Even the insects stopped buzzing. The ground trembled beneath their feet. Something's coming, whispered Jamie. Something big. Bzzz. What do you think it is? I guess you'll have to find out in chapter 4.